All right, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at some additional steps that you can take when you're emulating Switch and playing the games through Launchbox to make sure that you have any DLC or updates that you care about installed. So in our last steps, or if you've gotten a drive from us, you'll see something like this when you open Launchbox. Um, However, if you have, for instance, here with Pokemon, if you have the DLC for it installed, if you launch this just through Launchbox, um, it's not going to have that DLC installed. Now, if you get a drive through RetroRig, we will do what we can, especially under request, to get any DLC or updates that you would like already pre-installed and ready to go. But if you're doing this yourself or you're adding a new game, and you want to make sure that you have the updates in DLC, this is how you do it. So your emulator that we have set up through Launchbox, this is very, very important, has to be the same executable, the same folder that you set up through Launchbox to launch your games. We want to open that emulator. In this case, it's RetroRig. We want to open that by ourselves. So here we have RetroRig set up. And it's completely empty. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go to Settings, Options, Settings, go to your game directories here and click Add. And so we are going to go to our ROM folder for our Switch, and this is the same folder that we use to import the games in Launchbox. We're going to click Select Folder and click Apply. And you'll see here that this has all of our games in it. And one thing I'm going to want to do just to be able to demonstrate this is I'm actually going to go in here and I'm going to remove this update for Cuphead. So this is the game that we added in the last step. You got a drive from us, you added Cuphead, it's version 1.2.0. You have the update. How do you make sure that that's installed? So the easiest thing to do, if you're just doing a single game, you can just go in here, go to Manage Title Updates and click Add. And then we're going to go all the way back out to our update folder for the Switch, and wherever you have that update. And you're just going to go here and click Open. One new update added. Make sure the little green bar is there, indicating that it is the active one. And you're going to make sure you click Save. Now we have 1.2.4. Same thing for DLC. You go to Manage DLC. You can actually see it here. Manage DLC. We have the DLC for Pokemon already enabled here. But if you didn't, you would go Add. You would select the NSP DLC file and add it just like you did the update. Another thing you can do is if you have a bunch of games that you want to update all at once, you can do Load DLC or Title Update. Again, these work exactly the same way. You can do Load from Folder. And so if I go out here to the top level of my update folder where I have updates for all of these games, I can just select that folder and you'll see it applied the one new update, and Cuphead is now showing the correct version. You can do the same thing with DLC. The last thing you can try, it's not terribly well documented, and I don't tend to do it just because when it updates and if I put a new file in, how does that work? Is not terribly clear, but you can auto-load DLC/updates directories. You can set that here. So what you would do is the same thing that we did before, where we have our update folder with all of our updates in it. You would just add that here like you did for your game directory and hit Apply. And then you would also add, in our case, we have our DLC folder for Switch right here. We would select that folder as well, and then we would click Apply. And that will make sure that, in theory at least, that you always just have to go in and drag your updates to your update folder and your DLC to your DLC folder, and it'll keep it up to date for you without you having to do anything else. Now, if I'm downloading updates and whatnot, I tend to be doing that in an active process. So I will just go in here and load them from a folder, and that works good for me. But however you do it, that is how you get the updates and DLC in Ryujinx, and we're done in Ryujinx from that point on. And so we'll move this out of the way. And so now you can just launch any of your games that you updated or added DLC to through Launchbox. And because the Ryujinx that we applied the updates through, it caches that information, is the same Ryujinx that is being used by Launchbox to launch these. It will have the DLC and the updates all ready to go when you launch through Launchbox.